I'm excited to show you guys TBS newest product, an RC link called Tracer. If you're interested in what it has to offer, stick around. Alright, before we go into the Tracer specs, let's start with a little bit of Crossfire history. Crossfire was released in 2015 and it quickly became the most reliable and convenient RC link in my opinion. But there were occasions, mostly on race events in the European Union though, when there were a lot of pilots in the air use Crossfire, it could lead to so-called micro fail-safes. That is due to the smaller bandwidth of Crossfire, but you can combat this with proper settings. There is a Crossfire race mode for both frequency bands that essentially double the bandwidth. This won't be a matter at all anymore with Tracer, as the 2.4 frequency offers a lot more bandwidth compared to Crossfire. Let's get to the Tracer specs. What is Tracer? In a nutshell, it's a 2.4 link based on new technology. It offers a super fast update rate of 250 Hz and it has long range capabilities. And it offers you the exact same hassle-free usage you're already used to with Crossfire. That's because Tracer and Crossfire both share the same CRSF protocol. Its range is about 15 plus miles or 24 kilometers, and there's going to be only one RF mode which represents the 250 Hz. There won't be any switching from a slower to a faster or faster to a slower RF mode like Crossfire does. There's going to be two different module versions, a micro-TX shaped one for the JR base and a smaller one designed for the so-called light base. There's no output or feature difference here. Both versions work at up to 100 mW output power and are controlled via Lua scripts. I gotta say I was hoping for a Tango 2 Tracer edition as I simply love the form factor, but that's not going to happen. Right now you would have to get yourself a TBS Tango Light Bay add-on and a Tracer Light module to enjoy the Tango 2 in combination with Tracer. Remember that only V2 or V3 PCBs will allow you to install the add-on bay. Another thing to mention is that with 2.4 you're going to use much smaller antennas, and TBS is offering 4 of them at the release of Tracer. Even the beloved Immortal T is there in a 2.4 variant. Now you might ask yourself, well, if we got to use smaller antennas, does that mean the signal gets blocked easier by the carbon of our frames? Well, that could potentially happen, but that's why Tracer is featuring diversity in the nano package. Using just one antenna is completely fine too. Racers want to keep their weight down, right? Is it worth the switch? Well, that depends a lot on you and what you're after and what's your current transmitter or whole setup in general. For example, if you are already invested in a Crossfire JR module and you're not a racer that competes in events, might not be worth the switch. But then again, it doesn't really break the bank. There's a starter set coming, which is $130 and includes a module and 3 receivers. But if you're after the fastest possible link, do not care for crazy range and your wallet is cool with the two, then I say go for it. I've been enjoying the prototype for a few weeks now and I'm absolutely loving it. No RF mode switching, a super fast link on a full range scale, and when I was testing it, even in a bando, the LQ wasn't moving at all. Super insane. But back to the initial question, best case scenario for a switch would be if you already own a Tango 2, V2 or V3 PCB, get yourself a Tracer Lite module and a Light Bay add-on and put it on the back of the Tango 2. That means you could have best of both worlds in just one transmitter. And you could convert your fleet one after the other, or have even dedicated quads like Tracer and Crossfire quads, as Crossfire is still going to be the king in ultimate range. Alright, we have almost reached the end of the video. Such a big release in FPV brought to you by TBS just at the end of 2020, and there's even more interesting stuff on the horizon. Was I allowed to say that? Anyway, if you have any questions or feedback, leave a comment below or message me on Facebook. Until next time, see ya.